friends, welcome back to MoonMagickSpirit. My name is Meg and today we're doing a pick a card reading for the week ahead. If you are new here, hi, hello, welcome to MoonMagickSpirit. I have in the description box down below a Koji link. It's basically a link tree, but I like it a lot better. It'll show you where else to connect with me online on social media. My website is linked down below for you to check out. So if you're not familiar with me, now you can be. Please be sure to subscribe and check out the other videos on my channel. I do a lot of mystical art stuff like tarot, crystals, and astrology, to name the big three. And today we are doing a pick a card reading. So this is the first time I'm offering this on my channel and I'm so excited. If you are curious about the cards that you are going to be seeing tonight, this is a Halloween tarot deck. I do have a video unboxing this and I show you all the artwork and go over the deck with you. It'll be linked up above and also down below. You can find it on my channel. Those are the cards that we're working with tonight. So how this is going to work is that I'm going to show you a solid 60 seconds probably of the different piles. And what I want you to do is even pause the video if you need more time. I just want you to sit and relax, get in a comfortable position. And I want you to just start clearing your mind of anything, you know, if your mind doesn't want to be cleared, if you're having a hard time letting go of those thoughts, it's okay. But just try to sit there, close your eyes if it makes you feel more comfortable, and just breathe. All right, so now that we have kind of cleared our energy and connected with our intuition, I'm going to have the cards up on the screen and just take a moment to connect which pile stands out to you the most. You may have two piles that stand out to you, so there might be messages in both of those piles that you need to hear. Just go with what your intuition is telling you. Some of you might know right away, some of you might take the full minute to connect with a pile, but once you have your pile, keep that in mind and then we will proceed on. Okay, you have picked your pile. So right up here, I'm gonna have the timestamps for the different piles. In the pinned comment down below, I will also have the timestamp, so you should just be able to tap on it and it will jump to that part in the video where I am talking about your pile. So go ahead and let's get into it. All right, group one, so I see some sort of like mental chaos getting in the way with your work and interfering with your ideas or like projects that you're working on, which is why I chose the stone pyrite for your pile, because I relate it to work and manifesting success. The cards that we pulled are the reverse 9 of pumpkins. So in this Halloween tarot, I'll tell you what the suits are. So pumpkins is pentacles, and just for aesthetic like reasons, I'm gonna have these cards facing upright while we're looking at them, just because I find it distracting and disorienting to look at reverse cards while doing a reading, even though I do read reversals. So up next we have reversed Ace of Bats, which is reversed Ace of Swords. So you got some clouded judgment there. And we also have the reverse Devil card. So you could be getting some clarity on that clouded judgment. And last but not least, we have the King of Pumpkins, aka the King of Pentacles. So here is your spread for this week. Now, I will say when I was shuffling these cards, they all flew out. So the amount of cards is how many flew out while I was shuffling, and every group that I did, cards started falling out. So that is how I pulled for this week's reading. Up first, we have the reverse Nine of Pentacles, and I really see this tying into your self-worth here. I feel like you are overworking yourself. You're like too far gone in the hustle. You are just focusing way too much on work, and other areas of your life are being neglected a little bit. You're like over investing yourself in work right now. So what I need you to do is just take a moment and pause and reflect, like, is this work being reflected in payment as well? Because the Suit of Pentacles is about money and security. So perhaps you need to think about asking for a raise for all the hard work that you're doing and commitment that you're giving. Or if you are somebody that offers services and you are your own boss, you need to look at maybe charging a little bit more for what you're providing to other people. But I really see this as like you are just clouded right now in the chaos of being caught up in work, caught up in the hustle, that you're starting to lose a little bit of your self-worth. And you're not really giving yourself time to indulge in other areas. It's also feeling like a situation where you leave work, but you can't let it go. So even though you're not physically at work or working, you're constantly thinking about it. And it's really getting in the way of your personal life. So you're just really having a hard time being able to unwind. And I feel like it's really starting to cloud your judgment, and things are getting a little bit lost in translation because you're too overly focused. And that ties into the reverse Ace of Swords over here. So it feels like you could be on the verge of seeing something, like on the verge of a breakthrough, or like on the verge of like solving something, but you're like overlooking the obvious answer because you're just so overworked and like overly focused that you're losing sight and you're losing clarity on things. Because this card also represents mental chaos to me, and that's very much what I'm getting from the reverse Nine of Pentacles with overindulging in work and losing your self-worth. You guys are probably tired of me saying it, but I will keep saying it. So here you really have some chaotic mental thinking, some clouded judgment, and you really need some clarity. Something's getting in the way of a new idea and breakthrough. You may be avoiding something super obvious, but just know with this card, you really need to refocus yourself because there's no quick fix that's not going to get you anywhere. Cutting corners is not the way to solve this problem. You really need to take a step back from work and just focus on your self-care and just like take some deep breaths, maybe step away from the project for a little bit, do something to get your mind off of it so you can really focus on whatever it is that you need clarification on. And this also ties into what I pulled next, which was the reverse Devil card. So this is like regaining your control. So over here, this is like kind of the lesson playing out from the first two cards of overindulging in work, having a lack of balance, that chaos, needing mental clarity, your self-worth, all of that. You're starting to come to the realization that maybe you do need to take a step back and focus on yourself and focus on the things that you love and your passions. And that's exactly what the reverse Devil card is telling us. You're coming to consciousness about this, and you're going to be releasing like your limited beliefs on what is causing your mental chaos. And this also is going to involve like some shadow work. So you want to question like, why am I overworking myself so much? Like, what is the real reason behind this? And I want you to dig a little deeper, but also make sure that you have a good support system, because whenever shadow work is involved, it can get really deep, and sometimes it can get dark because it is our shadow side. So just make sure that you have a good support system, whether that be a therapist or a really close friend or family member that you can talk to about this. But you really need to get to the bottom of why you are overworking and overstressing and like giving 150% when you're not necessarily seeing positive results from that. And once you do this reflection, you're going to gain back some freedom, you're going to regain control, and you're going to be able to have this self-assessment And once you do, you will be able to start the work to tie it all back together. But because the Devil is a major arcana card, this isn't an issue that's going to be solved this week. This is something that you're going to be on the brink of this week. This may be a realization that you have this week, but this is something that is going to take time and effort and patience. So just make sure that you're following through with this card for the week. And of course, once you start to have that self-assessment and like regain your control and like have a little sense of freedom and like relax a little bit, it's going to allow you to have like a whole new focus when it comes to your work, because this is the King of Pentacles. This was the only upright card that we pulled. So the King of Pentacles is all about wealth and business and leadership and security and turning business into lucrative money. But here I really see it as just trusting yourself and trusting your actions and applying yourself to get the best results. The King of Pentacles to me is also a reminder that slow and steady wins the race, to stay in control of your energy and resources while working towards your goals. So like, yes, like you're hustling, you're trying to get you to your goals, but because you're a little too focused, you're having some mental chaos going on, you need some clarity. So doing a self-assessment of why am I working so hard and this isn't working, it's actually going to help you stay in control of your energy, and it's going to help you work on your goals for the week and also for the long term. So I see these first two cards as a position where you may find yourself this week. This is an ongoing thing, and then this will also be an ongoing thing as a result of you doing the work of the reverse Devil card. So just keep that in mind this week. If you're feeling a little bit stressed out, just do a check-in with yourself and just take a deep breath and do a little assessment, like, why am I so stressed right now? What is the root of this? What can I do to give myself some relief? And you should be good to go. So that is going to wrap it up for you, Group 1. Let me know in the comments what cards resonated, or like what messages resonated with you. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you found this helpful. Hello, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. We have the Rainbow Fluorite, and the reason I selected Rainbow Fluorite is because this is a very emotional deck of cards that I drew. For all of the groups, these were cards that just flew out of the deck, so that is how I picked them. I believe we have 4 cards in this spread because that's how many cards flew out. But because this is such an emotional set of cards, Rainbow Fluorite is really good at helping you with your emotions and just like sort of sucking out the negativity. And I feel like this spread relates a lot to your struggles with Mercury retrograde that's been going on. We are like in the last week of it, thankfully, and Rainbow Fluorite is also a really great crystal for working with Mercury retrograde. So let's get into it. The cards I pulled are the reversed 3 of Bats, and Bats is swords in the Halloween deck, the Emperor, the reverse World card, and the 7 of Pumpkins, aka the 7 of Pentacles. So for this video, I'm going to turn the reversals upright just because it's less distracting to look at, but I do read reversals. So let's get into it. You guys, I feel like you are in a lot of pain right now. You guys are just emotionally distraught, emotionally drained. And it might not be from other people. It could be from outside circumstances that are really affecting you personally and inwards. When I see the reverse 3 of Swords, I don't see it as like heartbreak from losing a person in your life. I see it as a lot of inner turmoil. So this could be in a result of negative self-talk, not wanting to forgive yourself, or like not wanting to look on the up and up. So I just feel like you're in a lot of deep emotional pain right now. But the goal here is to release the pain, have that recovery, find some optimism so you can be able to forgive yourself or forgive other people and move on. So what I think you need to remember is like your words are really, really powerful, especially when you are speaking towards yourself. So you really need to watch how you use them and how you're talking to yourself, because it's going to have a significant impact on you, whether you are having a lot of positive self-talk or negative self-talk. It's going to tip the scale to either extreme this week. So you may be having a lot of negative self-talk because you're having a hard time of letting go of something. And I see, like, when it comes to the reverse world, I see that as like a retrograde card, and I can see it tying into the reverse Three of Swords. Like, you're just having a hard time from moving on from something right now. So you're just feeling a little bit stuck, a little bit jumbled, a little bit thrown off. Like maybe something resurfaced from the past that's come back and you just realize like, oh, I really haven't moved on from this, and you're having a hard time with it. But the good thing about retrograde, Mercury retrograde, is that it's a great time to release and let it go and reflect. And that's been my mantra for this Mercury retrograde in Libra, is release, reflect, and let go, because you're only hurting yourself here. Like, there's no benefit from holding on to this. So do what you need to be able to let go from this, because the clouds are going to clear and you don't need to be stuck in suffering. You're going to rise again. And that like falls right into the Emperor card that we have right here. The Emperor is all about getting your power back. The Emperor, I always say he's like daddy CEO vibes. But for this spread, it's definitely getting your power back. You need to put your creative energy to use. So even though we didn't pull Empress and Emperor are like tied together, they're bonded, and the Empress is more of like creative energy. So I feel like the Emperor is calling you to harness a little bit of the creative energy of the Empress and the kindness and love from the Empress when it comes to the negative self-talk that you've been dealing with, or whatever it is that you are stuck on and you can't let go from. So put the creative energy of the Empress into action. And the Emperor is a man of strategy. He's a man with a plan. So it's breaking down what the problem is, whatever is causing the Three of Swords. You need to get to the root of it and reflect on that. Again, make sure you have a good support system, because things can get a little bit deep and a little bit heavy, especially with what you've been carrying around. So get down to the root, reflect like, what is this? What is the root of this? What can I let go? And you want to break down the problem and map it out, and then take action on how to resolve it. And you need to do this with confidence, because you do have the confidence in you to let go of that pain and to move on from it. And you're going to come out even stronger and have a more powerful energy about you. You don't want this chain to hold you back anymore. So this also may mean facing some consequences depending on what the situation is, but it is just so important and part of the process for you to take responsibility and face those consequences. It's really going to help you move on from what is causing the pain of the Three of Swords. So you're also going to be able, once you get past this hurdle, you're going to be able to grow with your goals. You're going to get back on track, and you're going to be in charge. So up next, we have the Reverse World card. So, you know, we're trying to take our power back with the Emperor, but it may be a little bit of a bumpy ride with the Reverse World card. I literally think this is like a Mercury retrograde card. Because it's like delays, no closure, like things are getting jumbled up, you're spinning round and round, you feel stuck, things aren't making sense. And that's kind of what Mercury retrograde does to us in its period. So this card is all about seeking that personal closure, right? Ties into the Three of Swords. But when you're trying to harness the Emperor energy of gaining your power back, you might be trying to take shortcuts or not fully commit to it, and that's going to get in the way of your healing. And what the Seven of Pumpkins is telling us is that it's going to be work. Like, you're really going to have to put a lot of work into it. So when you're looking this week, you're going to have a breakthrough on what is holding you back, like what is causing you emotional distress, and you're going to start to get motivated to get your power back. But because we pulled two major arcana cards, this can play out longer than just this week. This this is going to be a little bit more of an ongoing thing, but for the week, you're going to be able to recognize that what this is and get to the root of it and know what steps you need to take to get your power back. But just know that you can't really have shortcuts to this. You really do have to dig deep and be committed to it. And it's going to be a lot of hard work, but once you get through that and you do that work, it's going to be so rewarding for you. Another thing with the reverse card is just like embracing where you are right now and letting go of the past. Difficulties are going to lead to you learning and growing through this. And don't lose focus of the end goal. Re-energize and remind yourself why you're doing this. And you might need to get creative to get there. So again, like harnessing the creative energy of the Empress. Hard work takes perseverance. So again, like the heads up for this week, I really feel for you is just getting to the root of your problem, the root of your emotional distress, and just confronting that head on and just reflect on it this week. You know, start taking the steps that you need. Start taking the steps that you need to start the process of getting over it and getting through it. You got this. If Mercury retrograde has got you down, it's going to be stationing direct on the 18th. There's a 2-week post-shadow period, so we are almost in the clear. You just need to hang on a little bit longer, but I feel like this week you're going to really be called to just reflect on any sort of emotional turmoil or pain that you have been feeling or anything that got stirred up over the last 2 weeks during this Mercury retrograde. So be gentle with yourselves. Don't rush it. Don't take shortcuts. Do the work. You got this. I believe in you. Reflect, reflect, reflect. Best of luck to you. Hello, group 3. Welcome to your reading. For all the cards, I was shuffling for each group and cards just flew out. So how many cards are in this reading is because they flew out and you guys had 5 cards fly out while the other groups only had 4 cards, and you selected this pile with this beautiful heart rose quartz. I selected this rose quartz for you because this reading is really about emotions. It's a very emotional reading, but it's about reflection and just kind of sitting with yourself. So you need all of the loving vibes and all the self-love vibes. So I thought rose quartz would be the perfect crystal for your pile. So let's see what cards we have for this week. Up first, we have the reverse King of Ghosts. I do read reversals, but it's distracting to me to see them reversed, so I will hold them upright, but just know it is a reversal. And in this pack, Ghosts is Cups. And up next, we have another Ghost card, so that is why this is like a very emotion-based reading, because the Suit of Cups is basically your emotions. So up next we have the 8 of Ghosts. Here we have Temperance. I love the artistry on these cards, especially that one. Up next we have the Chariot. And lastly we have the reverse 2 of Pumpkins, aka Pentacles. Here we have the reverse King of Cups. So you are really holding on to the past here because the king, you know, he's the top tier. So your emotions are running that deep, like it's significantly deep. Your emotions are buried very, very deep beneath the surface. I feel like to help give you some relief or an outlet for this, your creativity needs to be challenged. So you can look at creativity as a welcome distraction, or you can pour all of your emotions into something creative to help get it out and to get it flowing. And I feel like this week, if you aren't already, you may be withdrawing to avoid your feelings. So normally you're like this very like emotionally mature person. You're like very on top of it. You're like king of the world. You're like super social. But this week you may find yourself a little bit more reserved because like your emotions are taking a very draining effect on you and your personality. And it's kind of out of character for you to be so withdrawn, not just from people, but from doing the things that you enjoy. So the thing here is that we need to get to the root of your emotions and how they're impacting your life. You need to reflect. That's kind of been a theme this week in the other 2 group readings, is like, why are you feeling this way? Let's get to the root of the cause. Let's reflect. Let's journal. Let's do maybe a little bit of shadow work. But because this is a King of Cups reverse, the emotions are so deep. And I always suggest having a good support system with you, but you especially need this. I feel like you really need to find some calmness for you to help you heal, and you really need to dig deep to find a lot of compassion for yourself. I feel like you're lacking a lot of kindness towards yourself, and it's just unnecessary. I feel like all of this emotion is getting so overwhelming to you that you are being so moody and just overwhelmed and anxious and repressed, and you're just very out of touch with your emotions. So I feel like this is like the root cause of everything for this week, or you may be feeling it. So what you need to do this week is just really sit with yourself and like reflect a lot, is basically what the rest of the cards are saying. So here we have the 8 of Cups, and you can see it's a person walking alone, and the other ghosts are sad and just like, oh, what's going on? And you know, the person walking away isn't engaging in anyone. Even the moon is kind of like, meh. So this card is all about walking away and searching for the truth. It's letting go for something better. So right now there's something emotionally or spiritually missing from you. There might be an old grudge that's being brought up. It's just, there's something at like whatever the root of this problem is, you need to seek it out and do the work to reflect. And in this process, you also need to remind yourself to go back to the compassion of this card. You also need to find what brings you joy and fulfillment along the way, because like I said, shadow work and a lot of this self-reflection, especially when it's the King of Cups and the 8 of Cups, it's really deep. It's very emotional. It can be almost traumatizing to a point. So you really also need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in this process, being gentle with yourself, and still turning to the things that you love, like what used to make you passionate, what used to fill you with joy. Try reconnecting with some of those things as you're reflecting on how to move on from this problem. And here we have Temperance, which is all about patience and balance and just peace and calmness and testing new waters. So right now you're in the in-between stage of reflecting and like trying to get on the other side of it. So the whole message here is to just remain calm through the stress, because again, it's just so emotionally deep. It's going to be a hard process for you. You may have some trial and error, but the whole point of this is to like step foot into new waters to gain new perspective from the situation. And again, this card is just reminding you to just like keep calm and try to keep the balance throughout this process. And this is reflected more so with the Chariot. So I feel like your guides like really needed to hammer this into you. Like you need to have patience with yourself. You need to have a lot of love for yourself, a lot of compassion. You need to test some new waters, get to the root of this problem, but also have patience within yourself. So once you start to get there, you're going to be back in the driver's seat. You're going to be back in control. You're going to have a lot of encouragement from this. So the Chariot is asking you for dedication to this process, because we did pull 2 major arcana cards. It's not just going to be over in a week. Like this is going to be a process that can take a couple of weeks to get through. But this is what you're going through this week is a starting point for this journey. So this week is really asking you to like have the dedication to bring these things to fruition and to not get sidetracked, don't get distracted, and to stay focused on what the end goal is. And here for the 2 of Pentacles, it's just reiterating again that there is a loss of balance. You're feeling overwhelmed. You might be overcommitted right now. And this is a gentle reminder to you that you really need to focus on this right now. Like this should be your top priority. So if you're getting hit with a lot of projects at work, or maybe there are people around you in your life that are asking a lot of you, This card is your reminder that you need to commit to yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you need to avoid committing to things that are just further going to overwhelm you. So this is a reminder card because you may be somebody that tends to people please or give in or has a hard time saying no, but this card is saying this is only going to make things worse if you don't say no. So you really need to say yes to yourself and focus on yourself. So again, this is a really, really heavy spread, but I can't emphasize enough to make sure that you're being compassionate with yourself. Make sure that you're taking time to do things that you enjoy. Maybe get out in nature. It is spooky season. It's cooling down across the country here in the United States. So maybe find something fun to do in your off time that involves the outdoors. If you love Halloween season, maybe go find a pumpkin patch or go for a hayride or just go on a hike somewhere. I think going out in nature is really going to help you reflect. It's going to ground you. You're going to be able to get more in touch with your emotions. I feel like getting out in nature is going to give you a lot of reflection to get to the bottom of what is causing your emotional turmoil, and it's going to bring you some peace and clarity in such a moment of being so overwhelmed with your emotions that it's going to start healing you, and you're going to start to get into the chariot and be back in the driver's seat and on your way to healing yourself. So just make sure this week that you're also taking time for you and focusing on yourself. I hope this reading was helpful for you. Let me know what messages resonated with you down in the comments. And again, please just be gentle and loving with yourself because you deserve to be loved. I feel like the energy was kind of heavy for all three group readings. So I'm just back again to reiterate for you guys to please make sure you're taking care of yourselves. I feel like Mercury retrograde has stirred up a lot. And the main theme of this is a lot of self-reflection and a lot of self-work, which whether you're watching this during Mercury retrograde or not is something that we should all be doing. But I feel like there has been such a big call to just reflect in general during this period, and I feel like the cards that I drew for all three groups really reflected that. So make sure that you guys are taking care of yourselves and being gentle with yourselves in the process. That is gonna wrap it up for Pick a Card the Week Ahead reading. Let me know what you resonated with down below, like what stood out to you, what messages can you relate to, how are you going to apply them to your life. I would just really like to connect with you guys, so let me know in the comments down below. As always, be sure to check out the link in my description bar so you connect with me on other social platforms, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to hang out with me. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these readings, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.